Hello, Year 7, hope you're all okay. So today's lessons are all going to be about the night sky and the universe. It's really important that moving forward you have the basics down in this topic, because then when we go through it later on in science, you're going to be able to show just how much of an expert you really are. So it's a two-part lesson. The first half your teachers would have uploaded. You're going to complete the Do Now Connect activity and we're going to make notes on some of the key points. There's lots of questions and gap fills to help you out along the way. And then the second part of the lesson is where you're going to complete the apply task. So that's where you're really going to be able to show your teachers what you've learned, and that's what your teachers are going to be looking at. Okay, so along the way, just wanted to point out to you, you'll see lots of pink boxes on the slides. Those pink boxes are going to be giving you instructions for what you need to do on each slide, okay? It might be that you're making notes, it might be that you need to watch a video, or specific instructions for the task you've got to complete. Make sure you have a look at them. It might even tell you a little bit more about where you can find information to help you out. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is going to be the first part of the lesson, where you've got your Do Now Connect activity and you're making the notes and finding out the new information. So for today's Do Now Connect activity, I want you to start by having a really good look at the picture on the screen. How many stars do you think you can see at night? Okay, so just to help you out, that picture, it might give you some ideas. Why do you think we can see them as well? This isn't going to be marked. So it's just your thoughts. What do you think? Just jot them down on a piece of paper, whatever you've got in front of you, and just have a real go at explaining what do you think you can see? Why can you see them? Okay. The next couple of slides you're going to see now is going to be some new information for you, and we need you to make notes on these slides. So it's all going to be different parts of the night sky and the universe, and it's really important that we start to get our heads around it. So the first one is the solar system. There's lots and lots of different objects in the night sky, but they are so far away from us that they all just look the same. We're going to find out what some of those objects are now. One of the objects then that can be seen in the night sky are satellites. So there's artificial satellites that can sometimes be seen without a telescope. They orbit the Earth. And then there is also the moon, which is the Earth's only natural satellite. What I'd like you to do now then is use what you've just learned about satellites to help fill in the gaps and complete the paragraph about them. If you are unsure, there's a help box underneath with some keywords that will help you to fill in those gaps. Okay, so as we've already said then, there's lots of objects in the night sky, but they're all very far away and we can't really see exactly what they are. So the dots of light that we see are actually stars in our galaxy, and a galaxy is just a collection of stars that are held together by gravity. Our galaxy is the Milky Way, and there are billions of stars in the Milky Way. Our solar system sits within that and orbits this large black hole at the centre. Okay, now the next nearest galaxy to us is Andromeda, okay, and it can actually be seen with the naked eye. Okay, so this slide gives us a little bit more information about how fast light travels, how long it would take light, okay, to reach the Earth from the Sun, and a little bit of information about our nearest stars and galaxies. I'd like you to make sure that you've made some notes from this slide, because you're going to use the information in a little while. Okay, so using the information that you've just got in the last two slides, I'd like you to have a go at answering these questions. These aren't being marked, but you will need some of this information for the apply task in the next lesson. So I suggest that you get a piece of paper or whatever you can just to answer these questions in full sentences. Remember, it's really important we start to practice using those full sentences to give lots and lots of detail. Have a go, see how you get on, and then we can use it a little bit later on. The picture on the screen then shows the planets in our solar system, and it shows them in order from the sun. Okay, so there are 5 planets that most people can see with the naked eye. They are Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter and Saturn. All of these planets orbit the sun. Okay, what I need you to do is make sure you've got some notes just on the order of the planets and which ones people can see with the naked eye. What I'd now like you to do, using what we've covered so far today and your own knowledge, is have a go at ordering these objects in order of their size, okay? Don't worry if you're not sure, but make sure you've had a go. Okay, so again, using what we've covered, I'd like you to go through now and have a go at filling in the gaps about planets to complete your own paragraph. If you're not sure, there's a help box underneath with some keywords to help you fill in the gaps. And also remember that you've been making notes on all of this as you've gone through today's lesson. So on the screen now then is some text about the universe and what it is. What I'd like you to do is read the text very carefully, and then we're going to answer some questions on the next slide. It might be that you need to flick between the two sides. That's absolutely fine. Just pause, flick across and back again as necessary. Okay, so these are the questions based on the text that you've just read on the previous slide. As I said before, you might need to flip backwards and forwards. I'd like you to have a go at answering these questions, please, on a piece of paper or in a Word document if that's easier. Again, as before, there's a help box with some keywords that you might need to help you answer the questions. And it may be that you actually need a bit extra challenge. So if that's the case and you find those first 5 quite easy and get through them quite happily, then you need to have a go at the challenge task at the bottom, okay, in the pinkish coloured box. Okay, so this is the second half of the lesson, as I talked about before. So this is where you're going to complete the apply task and do a bit of a plenary to show what you've learned and what you understand about what we've just gone through. So the apply task then for this lesson is going to be writing a letter to an alien from another galaxy. You are writing to this alien to tell him all about your galaxy and invite him here. It's important that you tell him as much as you can about the solar system and as much detail as possible. So when you're writing this letter, you're going to describe the structure of the universe, the objects you might find in it. It might also be a good idea to describe where our planet sits in relation to the other planets in the solar system. You should structure your letter using the success criteria on the next slide and any guidance to help you. Okay, so when you're writing your letter, it's really important that you remember the order of the objects in space. So what objects might this alien see if he did come to visit? Tell them about the solar system. Where is the solar system? What planets are found in it? Can you order them? Okay, give as much detail as you possibly can. If you're still a bit unsure on how to start this task, you will see I've given you 4 success criteria which are in red. Okay, so you're stating the objects in the solar system that emit, so give out light. You're stating the objects in the solar system that reflect light from the sun, describing the different types of objects found in the universe and explaining what a galaxy is, comparing it to the size of the solar system. Okay, to help you with how to address these points, I've given you some sentence starters in green on the slide, which you might want to use to help you structure your letter. Okay, so the last task we're going to do for this lesson and for this topic of the night sky is this consolidation task. So what I'd like you to do is have a go at copying the sentences and completing them by filling in the gaps. It's a 4-mark question, so it should only take you 4 or 5 minutes, but feel free to use your notes, take longer if you need to. It's all about showing that you've understood what we've covered so far. If you are still unsure, I've added the keywords in the yellow box at the bottom to help you with filling in the gaps. Okay, make sure you've completed all of the work we've covered so far over this double lesson, and then can you make sure that you've submitted that apply task, your letter to the alien, to your teacher. Okay, thank you.